Hey everybody, and welcome to the Get Speaking English Coffee and Crossword stream. My name is Axel, and while we wait for the stream to begin, let me quickly explain how this activity works and give you some information that will help you do it. So, during the stream, we will go through a crossword similar to the one you see on the screen right now. I'm going to guide the conversation by letting you know which question will work on when. I'm going to explain the question to you, maybe give you some definitions, and then I'm going to give you additional clues, other information, hints, maybe some images to help you figure out the answer with me. So, when you think you know an answer, go ahead and put it in the chat. You'll be able to participate on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. The addresses are all available on the screen. So don't be shy if you think you know an answer. Put it in the chat, and when I see a correct answer, I will add it on the board and we will fill out the crossword together that way. So before we begin though, there are a few important rules that you should know specifically about this stream so we could all have a good time. So my first major rule is no cheating. So don't use the internet unless I tell you to. So we could Google the answers if we want or use websites. We're not going to do that though. We're going to work together instead. So please do not use the internet unless I tell you to do so. Secondly, please follow the conversation. So for example, if we are talking about question number 3, don't start talking about question 19. Also, too, please be patient. We may take some detours along the way. I love to talk about additional vocabulary, phrases, other things that are related to what's in the crossword. So just please be patient. Try to stay with the group and don't ruin it for others. Finally, please be nice to one another. Like I said, you'll be able to participate on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube. But let's create a nice, friendly learning environment where people feel like they can participate without judgment and have a good time. So those are my main rules for playing this game. Now I'm going to give you some additional information specifically about this crossword to help you complete it. So the first useful thing to know is that this is an American crossword. So that means that American spelling and vocabulary is going to be used. So you can see on the screen right now some differences between American and British spelling. There are many others. This is just a small sample of some of the differences. There are also differences in the choice of vocabulary, in some of the phrases, some of the slang is different. So usually this crossword uses American English. It's also worth knowing that any of the trivia is usually about the United States, so about American history, American geography. However, we won't need to know much trivia. Thankfully, the majority of the questions in this crossword are about language, they're about English, so we won't need to know a lot about trivia. It's also really helpful to know that the answers match the questions. So the answers will always use the same type of word and the same word form as the word in the question. So for example, if there is a plural in the question, there will be a plural in the answer. If there's an abbreviation in the question, there will be an abbreviation in the answer. So all of that is extremely helpful. Sometimes you will see me put little S's or EDs in places, and that's just good information for us to know to fill out the board faster. Keep that in mind too when you are answering, that your answer should always use the same type of word and the same word form as the question. Also, multiple word answers are okay in this crossword. So sometimes the answer could be a phrasal verb, maybe part of like a common phrase or an idiom. part of a sentence. Some of the longer ones are titles of books, titles of movies. This crossword does not indicate when something is a multiple word answer. However, I am usually quick to spot them. I will let you know if something is a multiple word answer, but do keep in mind when you are thinking about the answers to the questions that multiple word answers are possible. Finally, too, because we are here to review English, we're here to learn new words and vocabulary as well. It's important to know that there are words in this crossword that we can't really use in real life. So some of the words are just archaic, they're outdated, they're old-fashioned. Some of them are very formal or used only in very specific contexts. I will try to let you know if you can't use something, and I'll try to give you an alternative expression instead. I'll also let you know when you could use something in a specific context, but do keep that in mind that there are words in this crossword that even I, as a native English speaker, would never use in real life during a conversation. Anyway, so that's it. Like I said, don't be shy. Go ahead, jump in. The more you participate, the faster this crossword will go. So I do appreciate your help. Also, don't hesitate to ask questions about any of the words we talk about or any of the phrases we discuss. I always love having a good language discussion. So put your questions in the chat. I will try to address them. Finally, if you enjoy this activity, please give this video a thumbs up. Also consider subscribing to the channel or following my Facebook page so you don't miss any future streams. Also, please tell other people about this stream. The more people we can get out, the better. It grows the community, and it will let me host even more free live streams, free events, and other additional affordable group activities for English learners. So thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate you being here, and I love when you participate. And get ready because we are going to start soon. Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm back in my usual space. I'm back. Welcome to the stream. My name is Axel. Hoping I work this is working because I kind of discovered I had all my settings messed up at like the very last minute. So hopefully you can hear me. Right now I am live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We are going to do a crossword today. We're going to do this crossword, the one that is on the screen, just like the little video said. I am going to direct the conversation. I'm going to let you know which question we're going to work on when. I will try to call it out, make it obvious. I'm going to give you lots of little clues, little hints, tips, extra bits of information. Sorry, I'm just sitting here. I'll boost my mic a little bit more, maybe that's better. Anyways, I'm going to try to give you lots of additional help for you to figure out the answer right or wrong with me. And then if you think you know an answer, put in the chat. When I see an answer, I will put it up on the board, and then we will complete the crossword together. That way, I'm just gonna get rid of my hair. Anyways, I hope you guys had a really good weekend. Hello, Jacqueline. Hello, Anakul. So great to have you guys here today. Really good to see you. I'm excited to be back doing this in the morning. I always love doing the morning stream we have here. So just a heads up, I only have an hour and a half today. We have an hour and a half to get this done, and then I have to leave because I have something right at 11:30 my time. It is currently 10 a.m. my time here in Canada land. And it's actually a nice day. So I'm going to try to get through things as punctually as possible so I can spend as much time outside as possible. So yeah, so let's get right to it then. Let's not waste any time trying to get this done. Yeah. So I did look at this. Oh, actually this is Monday's crossword. Because today's was kind of, I don't know, there's a lot of math terms in it. Which might have been cool for some people. I don't know, I thought this one was better. So we're gonna do this one. We're gonna do this crossword. So let's start here. Let's start, I think one down is a good starting point today, actually. One down, flock, father. So father, obviously we are looking for some sort of a male, right? So probably looking for something that is a male as opposed to a female. And what is a flock? A flock, we would say a flock is a group of something. So a flock can be a flock of birds. So a group of birds, that is definitely one use of the word flock. But this one I think is a little bit different. We also say a flock of sheep. So I think the answer to this one actually is going to be the name of a male sheep. So if you think you know what that is, put it in the chat. I'm going to grab a picture just so we're all on the same page. Maybe they're like kind of they got horns, right? They're the ones with the big horns. I have a picture here. Put it in the chat. One of these guys here, and that is a ram. Exactly. So a ram, the name of a male sheep, as opposed to a ewe, which is the female. So this one here is going to be the male. So let's pop ram right on in there. Awesome. And what else do we have here? Tropical fruit. So a tropical fruit. I think we can get this one. Tropical fruit. 13 across. Starts with an M. Starts with an M. We got what, 5 letters? Oh, this is probably one of my favorite ones, I think, actually. They're kind of yellow red. They have a yellow inside. This fruit has a yellow, usually a yellow inside, and is usually maybe like red, yellow, green on the outside. A mango. Fantastic. Mango. I'm pretty sure this word is mango. So let's pop that in there. Oh, I'll get a picture too. So in case anybody is watching who's unsure as to what a mango is, I will share a picture. Hello, Sword. Welcome. How are you doing? Here we go. Here are some mangoes. You can see there. These are obviously cut, but you can see the insides there. Awesome, awesome. And a little trivia one. Even a little Amy Winehouse hit. Oh no, this one has a bunch of math. My bad. Fair-haired. 5 down. Fair-haired. So we're looking for a hair coloring or color of hair. Something. Oh. Something. And if something is fair, usually that means light. So we're looking for a light color of hair. So very light, almost maybe even white, really, potentially. And the spelling of this is a little bit interesting. You might know this word being spelled a little slightly differently than it is here right now. So brown definitely fits here. Brown fits here, but I think we're going a little bit lighter, actually. A little bit lighter. Blonde, exactly. I think blonde is going to be our answer. And I know sometimes blonde gets spelt with an E as well. I know, right? So, so blonde definitely, I think that's the UK spelling. And since this is an American crossword, though, and they love to do things a little bit differently, they will often not use the E. So blonde here is going to be the American spelling, whereas you would definitely spell it with an E with British spelling. So there you go. Yeah, blonde. So blonde. Yes, spelling. Blonde. British spelling. So that's kind of interesting. A little bit different. Anyways, so because we have lots of differences like that, eh? You know, it's like similar to, I don't know, color and color, right? American versus British spelling, leader versus leader, you know, things like that. So another example of like that difference. So anyway, so blonde, no E in the US. All right. And what else do we have here? Try to like see. Pilots? Yes. So pilot, we're looking for some sort of like maybe like a term that you might hear if we're flying, right? A pilot is a person who flies the plane, right? The plane, and I think we're looking for an abbreviation. Obviously, we have an abbreviation here, but we're looking for a little abbreviation. Something you might hear at an airport, or maybe the pilot will also say maybe over the, you know, intercom on the flight, basically to give you an idea as to when you are going to land. So something you might hear at an airport or on a plane that lets you know roughly when you might land. So we're looking for something they might say. See if we can get it, maybe, possibly. 3 letters that are obviously, they're short for something else. An ETA, exactly. ETA, which stands for estimated time of arrival. Estimated time of arrival, or ETA. What is our ETA? We will be landing at 5 o'clock or something like that. All right. So some trivia was here, because I don't know if this was going to be obvious. 11 across. Even a little. But we might know this one as well, too. Solo of Star Wars. So, So we're looking for a name here. People actually use ETA and people might, yeah, if you're supposed to get somewhere, people might ask you what your ETA is. So what is your ETA? A little less common though. It's definitely something you would hear more when you are when we're traveling. So if you are, you know, if you like to travel, you'll hear it. But yeah, you could, you know, you could potentially say that. If you're expecting somebody to arrive at your house, you could ask them what your ETA is, but it's not super common to use it outside of traveling. So super close, so not Jan, but so close though. Super close. I think this is gonna be Han. Is it Han Solo? I think so. So let's do that one. Han Solo. And then this little Amy, #1 across, our Amy Winehouse hit. I know, another trivia one. But this is a place you might go if you have a drug problem. REH something B, a place you'd go if you have an addiction, basically, like a drug problem or alcohol problem, for example. The Jan is the French version. Okay, all right. Rehab. We're gonna go to rehab if we have a drug or an alcohol problem. Exactly. Okay. Perfect. Formally, let's see here. Your part. All right. Let's do 15. Think we could do 15. I know sometimes if we do something formally, that could mean maybe to do something in a, you know, formal way as opposed to an informal or a casual way. I think here though, formally, so 15 across, formally actually means something that we're referring to something that was before. So I mean, how something was before. Oh, maybe this is a bad maybe this is a bad one to do. But yeah, we're looking for some sort of word that would indicate like a former time or a previous time. Maybe some sort of word. Basically that would indicate something that happened before. And like maybe it's happened again or something. In the past, but not now. There we go. That is the definitions I'm looking for, because there's lots of little other ways that we might use this word. So Auntie, welcome. Continue climb, welcome. So not Auntie, although I could definitely see that maybe something sort of a contradiction. Say something was something and then it's not something now. Not Auntie though. Let's see here. Let me maybe put it in a sentence. Here, I'm gonna put this in a sentence for you guys, and that might help. Second here. There we go. Here we go. Here is a sentence. All right. This house, something belonged to my grandfather. So this house formally, previously belonged to my grandfather. So looking for a word that might fit in There. Once. Exactly. This house once belonged to my family. Thanks for getting that. I was worried we weren't gonna get that. But that's great though. A little bit tricky there, but once. Yeah. So, one of the ways that we use this word, right? But great job. Awesome job. Let's see what else we can do here. Oh, I think 19 down should be pretty easy. 19 down. Yeah, that was a nice one. Super nice one. So canyon. Canyon is like a real, like a kind of a, like a, yeah, it was that was a tricky one, wasn't it? Canyon, like one of those, you know, they have like the really big cliffs and the, you know, maybe like a ravine or something. I'm gonna get a picture of a canyon. Here we go. Here's a canyon. You can see here we have these really tall cliffs. Then we maybe have like a river or something. That's basically carving out the canyon, right? When you're in these big, wide open spaces, right? And if you talk really loudly, maybe if you yell even, there is something that might happen to your voice and that, or to the sound. And so that is the word that we're looking for here, where it basically maybe bounces off, you know, the walls, right? And the sound kind of repeats itself. It will echo. Exactly. I think echo is the answer here. So awesome. Canyon means cliff. So a canyon does not mean a cliff. It's more like, because like a cliff could just be like one of these sides can be a cliff. You could have a cliff by a you know, by the water, and there's nothing on the other side, right? But a canyon is where you have, you know, almost like cliffs with like a river or some sort of passage in between them, if that makes sense. So whereas here, for example, we can see this cliff doesn't have anything on the other side. But yeah, echo, echo, echo. Great job. Awesome, awesome. All right. Deep voice. I think this is a singing thing. Yeah, let's do this one, a singing thing. If you sing in a choir, right? That's a group of people who sing together. And they all have different ranges. All have different ranges of their voices, right? You might have some people with a high range. So when I say range, you know, the area from like the lowest note to the highest note they can sing, that is their range, or their register. Another way we would talk about that. So some people will sing very high, you know, the altos, the sopranos, maybe mezzo-sopranos, or mezzo, I don't know. And then we have people that sing very low. They have very low voices, deep voices. So I think we are looking for a word to describe a very low singing range, a very slow singing range. So a very slow, very low, low singing range. That is what we are looking for. So, very low voice. This word also gets used to describe instruments that also can play very low notes. So Also used to describe instruments that play very low notes as well. The bass, exactly. And that's interesting, eh? Because bass, so when we're talking about music, B-A-S-S, how we're going to spell that. And of course, too, the word bass, B-A-S-E, different meaning, though also has the exact same spelling. So here we go, bass. Kind of an interesting one actually about this as well, because there is a so here obviously the pronunciation is this, bass, B-A-S-S, but sometimes this is actually a fish, and the pronunciation is actually bass, which is kind of funny. So the fish. So that's kind of an interesting one. An example of when the pronunciation of the word changes its meaning. So, but here we want bass, B-A-S-S, bass. And then yeah, bass is a type of fish. Anyway, moving on. Bar orders. Yes, let's do this one. 27 across. I think we should get this one. So bar, place where you can go to get a drink. Bar is a place we can go to get an alcoholic drink. So a place to go get an alcoholic drink. So if you're there, you might... there's an S here. We can see that we need this to be a plural, but you might get like little glasses, you know, little glasses of usually like liqueur or just like hard alcohol, for example. We're looking for the name. This is like the little drinks that are maybe served out of the little glasses. So does this deal here? We can see this person here pouring some shots. Exactly, shots. Gonna be our answer there. So great job. Got some shots going on. Perfect. Gosh, what else can we do here? Doctor's org. Oh, haha, yes. I know what this is, but I know what this is, but I don't know if I can collectively explain it. We might get this one. Number one. What's this one? Produce seller. Okay. Let's do this one maybe. Resting on. 20 down. Resting on. 20 down. We're looking for, I guess, like an adverb. Is it a preposition? Maybe a preposition. But a preposition. Yeah, I think it's a preposition. Double check. It is a preposition. Huh? That means something is resting on something else. That means that it is kind of like maybe sitting on top of it. So for example, I got like this little thing. I put it on this book, right? So we're looking for some sort of preposition. Obviously on, I think on would be an obvious one, but obviously we're looking for a different one because on doesn't have enough letters. But similar idea for maybe something being on something else. So a preposition. That means maybe on, atop. Exactly, atop. I think is gonna be our thing here. Something is atop something else. A little bit formal, I will say. A little atop, on top. So she sat atop a 2-meter wall. I would probably be more likely to say on top of. I would probably use that phrase, little phrase there. But yeah, we could use atop as well. For me, it sounds a little bit formal, so I'm just gonna say that. But atop is our answer there, exactly. A pun is a good one too. Oh yeah, that does work too, eh? A pun. Yeah. A pun, right? Atop is definitely our answer, but a pun is a good guess too. Yeah. Yeah. Nice one. All right. This little gear part. A gear is like it's like a thing with you know, it's part of machinery, right? Like here's a gear. One of these little things, right? And this answer here, this 16 down, this gear part, we're actually looking for the name of the little, so each of these little things that stick out, we could refer to as like a tooth, but there's a specific name though for the little parts that pop out here on a gear. And we're looking for whatever that might be called. The name of a tooth on a gear. Whatever we might call that. And obviously the teeth kind of like come together and it causes everything to turn. Right? There is an idiom. There's an idiom where we use this word as well. That this shows up. Which actually might be a little bit more little bit easier for you guys. But we might say to be a whatever this is in the machine, or a machine, for example. Basically to say that, you know, your work is kind of a little insignificant maybe, and you're just sort of playing your part. Maybe, you know, your job might be necessary, but maybe it doesn't make you feel super important, for example. Maybe. Cog of the machine. Yes, we're gonna be a cog of the machine. So the cog is a little tooth bit, a little toothy bit, and we say to be the cog of the machine. A caw is so caw is actually, it's not really a word, but this is the sound that a crow makes. We say that crows caw. And you know, crows are like those big they're big blackbirds. So that is the sound that a that a crow makes. That's a crow. They caw. But yeah, these little teeth though, these are cogs. C-O-G. Let's pop that in here. All right, and I wonder if we have enough info to get this one actually. This 18 across, men's facial product. So product, maybe some sort of like, I don't know. Usually we're talking about, you know, skincare, hair care products. So, you know, shampoo, maybe like moisturizer. So something that a man might use. Facial refers to face, right? You can see the word face in there almost, right? So some sort of product a man might use on their face. So beard oil, exactly. Yeah, okay, awesome. Yeah, beard oil. Perfect. Yeah. So nice. L. There we go. Okay, cool. Great. Great. Yeah, I just kind of like smooth it out, maybe shape it a little bit, make the hairs all nice and soft, right? And now let's see if we can do this one, because we have a lot of info for 4 down. I'm not a man, so I have no idea. Yeah. I hear you. I'm also not a man, and I don't date I'm not with a lot of people who have like beards, but that is the thing, beard oil. What we might do. 4 down. 4 down. So a procedure. So procedure, usually we're talking about a procedure for solving a mathematical problem. Procedure here, we're talking maybe about like an equation or something that you might do. Algorithm. Yes, algorithm. So algorithm. Of course, these days we hear a lot of talk about algorithms being used for social media and things like that, basically, to determine what kind of posts and things you see. But basically, algorithm, sort of a mathematical instruction or rules to help basically calculate the answer to a problem, or on social media, determine what kind of things you want to see, or other things that they think that you want to see, at least. You hate math. There's there's a couple of math things in here, I think. I think, if I remember correctly. Algorithm. Yes. I'm also not a big math person. What else can we do here? Engine down, afternoon breaks. Okay, maybe let's go up the top again. So you can see, what is this one? Oh, 7 down. 7 down should be easy, I think. Rink surface. What is a rink? A rink is a place where you might go skating, for example. Skating, if you're not sure what's like skating is, an activity you might do in winter if you live in a cold country, where it gets cold enough for the water to freeze, and then they will sort of freeze water in an artificial venue known as a rink. And so that surface is made of ice. Exactly. Perfect. Okay, let's put ice in here. Great job. Let's see what else we can do here. Oh, I wonder if we can get this one. Oh, maybe we can get this one. Because I feel like this one is... this is a math one. This is a triangle. Something about angles. Because obtuse. When you say if something is obtuse, when all the what is it? When all the angles are different. Here we go. An obtuse triangle is a triangle that has one obtuse greater than 90-degree angles, like an isosceles or scalene. And we're looking for the name of another triangle, one that has less angles that are acute. Thank you. I'm glad somebody got it. Because I'm not a math person either. But I just knew that this was like a math, like a triangle, like angle thing. So if something is not obtuse, it's acute. We're talking about math. Talking about math and angles and everything like that. Another funny way, actually. So, you might use the word acute to refer to something as being pretty sharp, right? But funny, we might say that if somebody, we might call somebody obtuse. Obtuse. If they are a bit maybe ignorant or almost like stupid. It's very rude though. Very rude. Very rude. But if somebody's not very, you know, very sharp, very, maybe they're a bit slow to think, we could call them obtuse. Anyways, that's a kind of a funny, another funny way we might use that word. Anyway, moving on. Sometimes I can be a little obtuse. Anyways. What else do we have here? Yes, okay, so the Greek letter. I know I saw it. Right. The triangular Greek letter. I think we saw it. Right. Dun, dun, dun. 14 across. Dun, dun. There we go. I think somebody already called it. Although we're trying not to. Let's skip ahead. Delta, right, delta. Well, let's put delta in here. So we have it, because that's definitely helpful. D-E-L-T-A. Because this is a tricky quadrant, I think. Definitely. Yes. So tricky. Okay. Let's do this one. Insignificant. 6 across. Insignificant. We might use this for this word. What the word, like this answer. Something. A word used. It's an adjective used to describe something of little importance, maybe. So we might use this word for talking about, you know, problems, maybe, or an injury, something like that. Describe problems or an injury, you know, where it's kind of little, right? As opposed to something that may be like very significant, right? Instead, this is a word used to refer to something that's very, very insignificant, not very important at all. So minus, we're kind of on the right. We're on the right track here. Minor. Yeah, something minor. Kind of insignificant. So let's put minor in here. You know, a minor problem or a minor injury, a minor inconvenience. You know, as opposed to something being major, right? That would be like the opposite. There, but let's put minor in here. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And I don't know if we're gonna know these words, but that's fine. 10 down. Harvest. We're looking for another word for harvest. This is a much more formal word for this. R-E-A something. That means to harvest. This word though shows up in an idiom. So it means to, it's like a very formal way to say to harvest, but it comes up in an idiom to, or rather you, what is it? You, whatever, what you sow. Basically, you harvest what you sow what set of seeds you lay down. You reap what you sow. Exactly. Reap here. Yeah, as you sow, so shall you reap. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so typically, yeah, this is definitely the idiom. But yeah, exactly. Reap what you sow. So basically, you experience the results of something that you did in the past, right? So great little idiom there. To reap what you sow. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Cut off. Yeah, I don't know we're gonna know this one. Void. This is a word that I might put on if I'm filling out a tax form and I have nothing to report, maybe. When they say to void. Yeah, I guess so, eh? Basically, say something no longer has an effect. 8 down. N-U-L. Something, yeah, I don't know if we're gonna know these ones. N-U-L. It's almost like a legal term. We might say something is something and void, as in it is no longer good. Null and void. Exactly. Null and void. No longer good. No longer applicable. 0 value. And this last one here. To cut off. A verb that means to cut off. Oh. Something. P means to. Ugh. Means to cut off. I would yeah, just like the cut off, like to cut off something in one very swift, quick motion. Like you might, whatever this verb, like a hair, for example, or something. Not a very common verb. Not a super common verb. Yeah, here's the official definition. To cut a piece of something with a single quick action. This probably is going to be a new one. But lop is the answer. To lop off something. So it's probably a new one. Put it in a sentence. So we've got to lop off the lower branches of this tree. You see here too that it's kind of like almost like a phrasal verb, to lop off something. You know, he lopped off his hair, lopped off his ear. Anyways, okay. Moving on. Okay. Quartz. Let's do this one. 26 down. And I think I'm still here, right? 26 down. I hope my internet's okay. 26 down here. Authentic. Something. Something authentic. Something that's maybe like true, right? You know, something authentic, it's true. So we're just basically looking for a synonym, right? A synonym for true. You know, it is what people say it is. Basically the opposite of a lie, right? Something that is real. Exactly. So I think real. It's going to be our answer here. I hope. Let's put that in there. And a Sicilian volcano. The famous volcano. Right, in Sicily. The big one. It's kind of near Messina, isn't it? Trying to think. But yeah, the volcano in Sicily. Mount something. Mount volcano on Sicily. Mount Etna, exactly. Actually, I know it's not in Messina, but near Etna. All right. I'm glad you guys are trivia people. Trivia and geography people. It's very helpful. Oh, this is kind of like a little bit of a gap fill. Almost like a little gap fill here. Yeah, let's do this one. 24 down. 24 down. So we're looking for, I think, 2 words. What? Something. New word. Because it's a question, right? So we're going to invert the verb and the subject, right? Maybe something you might say if you are unsure as to what you might say. Might say if you are unsure about what to say. So a bit of a question you might ask if you're unsure about what you might say. Maybe as a bit of a rhetorical question. A rhetorical question being a question that you know doesn't really have an answer. Maybe. But something here. See if we can figure out what this is. So we have a verb here, obviously, right? Because the verb is gonna go first. What did I say? Oh yeah, maybe. What did I say? Definitely I think the verb is gonna be different. We'll put this here though. I think, yeah, something you might say if you were unsure about what to say or maybe what to do. Almost like, you know, like, how can I make this better? You know, how can I make you better? Or what can I do to fix this situation? Maybe. Something like that. I think. I'll give you maybe like a hint, I guess. Maybe. Just for the sake of time. I think this is going to start with a C, actually. Because we need a C here. It's going to be a C. Hi, Ak! Oh, I just saw that too. Welcome, Ak. Over on Facebook. Hello. You know, if you ever want to play, Ak, YouTube is the place to play. It's good to see you though. Can. What can I say? What can I do? Model of ability. What can I do? So let's put can in here. Yeah, because I think that'll be helpful here. What can I say? I think you might say if you're unsure about what to say. Exactly. Okay. 23 across. Our produce seller. Notice how I said produce and not produce. So one of those other words where like the pronunciation changes the meaning. So we say to produce something with the accent here, produce. But here, instead I said produce, which is a noun. Produce. Basically, produce fruits and vegetables. So somebody who might, or something that might sell produce, fruits and vegetables and all sorts of jazz. Grocer, exactly. Grocer, grocer. Person who owns or works in a shop selling food, small things for the home. The grocer. Exactly. Ooh, and that's where we get the word grocery store from as well. So great job. Awesome job here. Let's see if we can get this one here too, since we have a bunch of info now. A banded quartz. A quartz is a type of mineral. A type of rock, kind of. Sort of. So we're looking for the name of a type of rock. If I say that something is banded, something that is banded, it almost has stripes here. So quartz, a mineral, or type of rock, and something banded has stripes almost. So basically, agate. Basically one of these guys we can see here with all the bands, or all the stripes of color, all the bands of color. That's how we would describe that. We would say it has bands of color and it is banded here. So kind of like stripes, but not really, but they have bands of color. Okay, alrighty. Awesome. This is a US thing. Let's see here. Dog. Kite site. Let's do this one. Kite site. Site the location. 44 down. 44 down. Kite site the location. The place where we might see a kite, and a kite, as a reminder, it's a kind of like a kid's toy. A toy, you would fly a kite. That is what they would say. You would fly a kite. So a place where you might see the kite. Place you would see the kite. Here is a kite. You can see this kid is flying a kite. To fly a kite. And you would fly the kite in the sky. Exactly. S-K-Y. So let's put sky in here. Got it. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So we got the sky. What do we have here? 43. 43 down too. Picnic pest. Picnic, it's like when you have a meal, sort of an informal or a very casual meal outside, right? Maybe at the park, right? Casual meal eaten outside, often on a blanket, for example, with portable food, typically, maybe, right? So a casual meal eaten outside, maybe in the park, usually on some grassy area. And then there's a pest. A pest is something that might bother you, or maybe it's a little bit destructive and things like that. So an ant, I think, is definitely some sort of thing that would definitely bother you if you were having a picnic. So let's put ant in there. I agree that this is probably ant. So great job. Great job. Yeah. Awesome. What this is, but oh, let's do this one. 46 across. 46 across. Use your brain. We're looking for a a verb here. 46 across. Something, something, something. A verb about using your brain. So we're looking for a verb. Brain being the thing inside of our skulls. I guess I can share a picture of the brain. I'm afraid to Google. But just so we're all on the same page. Here we go. Here's a illustration. Think! Exactly, think. If we're gonna use our brain, we're going to think. Perfect. Okay, THI. So we got think. Great, great, great. Map collection. Oh, this is a book. This is a book. A book where we would find maps. Because a collection of something is when you have many things sort of gathered together, right? So 41 across. Something, something, something. AS. A book where you'd find a collection of many maps. Basically, many maps. Basically all around the world, right? Often countries and continents and islands. The atlas, exactly, atlas, going to be the name of that book. Of course, these days, I guess everybody just uses Google. Do they even publish atlases anymore? I wonder. I mean, I guess so. Yeah. Anyways, there we go. So atlas, great job. Great job. 34. Speech. I think we could do this one. 48. 48 across. Vacant is a word you will see. It's a word you see with hotels, for example, or motels, or even apartments. Okay, so you'll see the word vacant or vacancy as well. Maybe you see this even more with like hotels or vacancy, but something is vacant, that means that there is space, basically. So we're looking for some sort of word that implies that there is space. There's basically room, maybe to accommodate people. That the rooms are empty. Exactly. So empty, something vacant is empty. It is not filled. Or occupied, you might say. Not occupied. Another way we might phrase that, exactly. Great, great, great. So we got empty. I don't know if we know this one. I mean, maybe. We might know this one, this Indian gown, though. The beautiful gowns that women wear in India. Very pretty. 38 across. What are these guys? We happen to know what that is. We might get this. I know we don't have a lot of info. Other than that, if we don't know this one, we can come back to it, I think. I'm just like not sure like what else we'd know. Sorry. Yes. That's okay, great. Sorry. Exactly. Sorry, let's put sorry in here. Okay. Alright. We're close to getting done. It's really good because I gotta go soon. River stoppers. Let's do 35 down. 35 down. River stoppers. Looking for those big sort of it's like a something they would construct to stop a dam. Thing constructed to stop a river. Sorry. I think constructed to stop a river. Did I say that? Okay, anyways. 35 down. Something, something, something. And we have an S here because this is supposed to be an S. Those big things to stop a river and to create usually maybe a reservoir. A reservoir. Often. But dams, exactly. There we go. A dam. D-A-M. Dams. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Awesome. Alright. What else can we do here? Ties this as a page. That's a film. TV? Radio. Yeah, we use this word a lot. We use this word a lot about when we're I mean it comes up often. Especially when we're talking about, you know, internet, TV, radio. So 45 across, something, 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 something. Basically all of those almost like those forms, communication forms used to speak to, you know, the masses. Let's say that, for example, you know, internet, newspapers, television. When we're talking about all of them in general, all of them as a group, media, exactly. Media. Like the way that you speak to something. As a group. Exactly. Okay. Awesome. We got that one. Fish feature. Fish feature. The little, the little things that fishes have that they use to propel themselves in the water. They use to... So fish use these things. Fish use these. Fish have many of these, or several of these things that they use to move themselves through the water. So, because they don't have hands, right? They don't have hands so much, right? But they have, you know, they have these little things. These little things that they use. Little things that they use to sort of propel themselves, push themselves through the water. Can't see it really good here. Oh, this one's nice. Like these things here. I'm worried my internet's not being very cooperative. Is it? Anyways, something that makes a fish, basically. Something that makes a fish. Obviously they have scales. They have gills. Gills also make a fish. But I think these little things are called fins. So a fin, I think, is gonna be our answer. So I'm just gonna like put that in here. That in here. And we're so close. So close to being done. Oh, will we make it? Digitizes. As a page. S something something. And obviously we have an S here. But yeah, I suppose you could take a picture of the page, you know, and sort of copy it, digitize it that way. So if we digitize something, that means to make something as into a digital format. Digitize, to put something into a digital format. But they also have these machines, right, where maybe you put the paper in there and then it kind of copies it and creates a digital copy of it that way. Scans, exactly. I think scans is going to be our answer here. Scans. Perfect. So we got that one. And what else can we do? Oh, I know what this one is. Again, is a film, so I know we don't do a lot of trivia. But if you happen to know this guy's name, 36 down, that is going to help us. That is definitely going to help us. So if you happen to know what that one is, let me know. 36 down. Guinness, a film, again. And another trivia as well too. 37 down. Luke's teacher. This is like a Star Wars reference. Alec, thank you, Alec. Luke's teacher. 37 down. They so the Star Wars reference. The little green guy. 37 down. Yoda. It's ugly. Alright. We're so close to like having this down. Super close. Which is good. Yoda. Okay. Alright, what else do we have here? 28 down. 28 down. So afternoon breaks. These are, so in, like, Spain, it is common. Also southern Italy. But I believe this is the Spanish word for this. In Spain, it is common to sort of take a break in the middle of the afternoon and maybe take a nap. So we're looking for basically short naps that happen in the afternoon in Spain. Let's say siestas, exactly. Yeah, we're gonna take a siesta. Because it's really hot, right? And you can't really, hard to do things. So siesta. And gosh, the rest of these. Just trivia. A lot of these are trivia. Oscar winner of Lauren. So they just had a holiday in the United States. Yeah, I think it was like yesterday, wasn't it? You guys know the name of the holiday? Last Monday in May. Oh, okay, it was on Monday. My bad. On Monday they had a holiday in the United States. This is the name of that holiday, the May celebration. Memorial Day, exactly. Yes, Memorial, and I think that's what this one here too, Memorial Day. So they just did Memorial Day. I'm not 100% sure. I think it's about military, more military personnel. There we go. Memorial Day, all right. We're so close here. Slide rules basis. I don't know what this means, but it's another math term. It's another math term. Oh, my internet's being terrible, I think. Okay. So a number that shows how many times a number called the base has to be multiplied by itself to produce another number. A logarithm. I'm glad you got that. I don't know what the slide rules base is, but logarithm. All right, let's do that one. And then this name. Any guesses as to what this name is? So we have 30 across, and then doctors. Or actually, I think I know like what this one is. It's an American thing though. Any guesses as to what this letter is? We'll pop it on in there, and then we'll be done. I think I know what this is gonna be. So this letter is just for 31. Sophia, yeah, I think it's Sophia as well. Because I think the doctors' organization in the US is the AMA, the American Medical Association. I think Sophia Loren. Nice. Yes, okay. All right. There we did it. Okay, great. Awesome. Well, I'm so glad. I'm so glad that we did it and have like a little bit of time before my like next things. That was great. Thanks so much for doing that with me. Great to see you guys again. I love doing this. I think it's a lot of fun. So as usual, you know, feel free to give this a little like, a little subscribe to the channel, etc, etc. Feel free to share this activity with other people who might like it, other people who are learning English. I've been trying to spread the word. It's always hard though. But yeah, because I love when we have new people. I think it's really fantastic. And as usual, if you would like to get in touch with me, work with me sort of one-on-one, you are more than welcome to get in touch for some conversational classes or some lessons. Best way is to either email me, getspeakingenglish@gmail.com. Actually, the best way is to send me a message on Telegram. That is absolutely the best way to get in touch with me. I guess I'll get rid of this. Just let me know why you're writing. Don't just say hi, because I get a lot of spam. But let me know why you're writing, you're interested in classes or anything. I'll be happy to respond to you that way. Anyways, I will be back Friday at the same time for another crossword. So I look forward to seeing you guys then. And I hope you guys all have a really good afternoon, evening, morning. I think everybody's like in the afternoon, evening though. So I hope you guys all have a good rest of your day. And I will talk to you all on Friday at the same time, 1300 UTC. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks so much. I will see you guys next time.